I've talked to you before, and you've teased me about being one of those deliberate creator fiends, one of those goal setters that has everything worked out for years and years. And I've laughed about that, and I've enjoyed that part of me. But something is changing. Things are softening. And what I find that I'm wanting now is, instead of reaching for all that creating of things outside of me, which is great fun.
Like what?
Abundance and houses and children and families and adventures like this cruise.
None of which is outside of you, because it is all what generates the vibration and the emotional response within you. So,
okay,
no creation outside of you. But we get what you're getting at.
Okay.
But
well, now I'm reaching for a feeling. The feeling of all feelings is the feeling of self-love. And it's what I want more than anything in the world. And what I'm finding when I do your processes, it feels to me like every process has at its heart enhanced self-love. Like
now think about what you're saying. You're exactly right, but think about it in the broader context. Every process that we offer is with the deliberate intention of helping you to release resistance.
Yes.
And when you release resistance, your cork floats and you become a vibrational match to who you really are. And when you are a vibrational match to who you really are, who loves beyond description, then that is the sensation that you have. And so you're exactly right. The processes are all about closing that gap so that you can perceive through a self that loves.
Yes. And all the processes feel like that to me, and I've noticed it in an incremental way, with the cork rising slowly. And when I came on this cruise, I wanted to sit in this chair and ask you to hit me with the self-love stick so that I could feel total self-love instantly, and not incrementally, not over time, but faster and more. And then I've been here all week, and I realized that incremental was okay. Incremental is wonderful, and that's been your message about everything we've talked about.
Because vibration is vibration, and you can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7. There is no such thing as a quantum leap. There is no such thing. Before you go further, we want to say to you very simply that the only hindrance to self-love, we're just going to lay it out here where you can see it, what has caused an eroding of self-love within so many of you is comparing you and what you want with others and what they want, and you and what you've got with others and what they've got. That's what causes an eroding of self-love. What causes a inclusion of self-love, an embracing of self-love, a loving of self, is a not giving a rip what anybody else thinks and having your eye only on these two vibrational points of relativity, where you thought by thought, experience by experience, conversation by conversation, memory by memory, experience by experience, just train yourself into something that feels better and better and better and better and better. In other words, it is, if there was ever an inside job, it's got to be that. Because when you are taught love by somebody outside of you, like a mother or a lover, as they are loving you and you're really feeling it, what's happened is they're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. They've already, for whatever reason, focused upon you in a way that they are a vibrational match to their inner being. And so they are love. They are liquid love. And as they hold you in their gaze, they flood this all over you, and you say, ooh, this feels so good. I want this always. But then you need their undivided attention. Then you need them to always be tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And you need them to hold you as their object of attention, and they will let you down every time, the selfish buggers, because they have other things they want to think about, and they cannot hold themselves to that standard. And so when you finally get it, that while it feels good to be loved, nothing feels better in all of the universe than to love.
Yes.
And we want to replace the word love with some other words. We want to say that when you are fascinated by something, you are in that vibration of connection connection with who you are. That's as close to love as it gets. When you are appreciating yourself or someone else, that's as close to it as it gets. Jerry and Esther can be in a restaurant, and there can be some sweet waiter or waitress helping them, and Esther will offer not to them but about them to Jerry some appreciation about them, and ripples of connected energy will just soar through her body as she joins us in our appreciation of that person, you see. So as you realize that here you are in this body, a perceiver, and you've got your telescope out there, so to speak, and you're looking out and you're looking at something, and whatever you are perceiving through your telescope is generating an emotional response in vibrational relationship. In other words, you would have no feelings at all if there were not this vibrational relationship between where you are and who you really are. And so as you look out with the intention of finding love, now you're looking for people that are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, which is not that easy to find sometimes, especially at work, and get them to love you, or you're looking for it in a boyfriend or in a lover or someplace, and now you're powerless because you can't control what they're doing with their vibrational relativity. And so you look for it and don't find it, and look for it and don't find it, and look for it and don't find it, and then you tend to call that self-love. I'm looking for love and I'm not finding it, and because I didn't find it, then I trained myself not to love me because I don't love me, because that one doesn't love me and I don't love me, because that one doesn't love me and I don't love me, because that one doesn't love me. And we say they're not loving you because they're not tuned in. They don't have the capacity to love you unless they're in alignment with who they are. And so don't look for the love through their eyes, look for the connection through your eyes. And so let it be love of this rug, and love of these flowers, and love of this environment, and love of this wonderful air, and love of this ship, and love of what I'm having for dinner, and love of this hair clip, and love of this ring, and love of this watch, and love of these flexible fingers, and love of whatever I can feel appreciation of. And as you just begin to tune yourself first to the things that are easy to appreciate, and then to the things that are obvious to appreciate, and then as you begin looking for things to appreciate, you begin to tune yourself into a vibrational alignment with who you really are about things that are easier for you to love. Because, friend, we don't want it to be this way. It shouldn't be this way. But for most of you, the hardest focal point on the planet for you to love is that one you see reflected back in the mirror.
Well, that's exactly
Go
what...
home today or back to your cabin today and sit before a mirror and sit there and look into the depths of your eyes and look with the intention of seeing your inner being looking back at you, and say, I know you're in there, and I have an inkling of how you feel about me because Abraham has been talking about it, and I'm just going to look for you until I find you. I'm going to stay here until I find that feeling of awareness of me and appreciation of me that I'm looking for. And from where you are, we can feel that you can get there very quickly. But the most important thing that we're saying to you is this self-love that you think you're looking for is not love of self. It's love that is self. And there's a difference. There's a difference between loving me and being me who loves. And it's being me who loves that is really you. And when you're me who loves, it's easy to love that one and 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 that one. And then it becomes irrelevant what your object of love is if you're loving. What difference does it make? What is the reason, the focal point for the love that you're feeling? What possible difference does it make? That would be like eating a really wonderful meal, and while you're eating it, being unhappy that you can't be eating that one and that one and that one and that one and that one. Doesn't matter which meal you're eating as long as the meal you're eating feels wonderful, and doesn't matter what the focal point of your love is as long as the love that you're feeling is the love that really is you, you see. That was good. That was really, really good.
Well, so I'm hearing you say, one of the things I love to do is I'm a writer. And I go out in my world and I see an old couple in the park and I feel incredible love just looking at them. Or a dog on the street, or somebody's shoes. So I can flow love that way. Are you saying that when I'm flowing love like that randomly to anything and everything, that is who I am?
Yes, that is who you are.
Oh,
that
so
is
good.
who you are. And the more you do it deliberately and acknowledge that is who I am, then the more you demand it of yourself, and demand is too strong a word, but the more you set your intention to find that, and the more you look for it everywhere you go. And the more you look for it, the more you find it, and the more you find it, the more you look for it, until soon you just become it. And then you become this stable being who is never off your balance, who, if someone looks at you and doesn't find appreciation as they're looking, you understand it hasn't got anything to do with you. It never had anything to do with you. Everything that has everything to do with you, you are in control of, you see.
Well, then I want to probe a little bit why I already do that, looking out, which I was defining as external, but you corrected me, and I understand that it's not external, it's all part of me. Why is it so hard for me and others to look at our own human self and not feel that same ripple of appreciation?
Because
and
you're
love?
looking for love to be focused at you rather than love to be focused through you.
But I
And
want to
because-
focus it at myself. I know what you mean about third parties. I've been down that rabbit hole, but I'm talking about focusing it on myself.
But what we're saying to you, and we want you to love you like we love you, but in the meantime, what difference does it make what the object of your attention is when you're feeling love? And the thing that is apparent, and we appreciate you saying it, and everyone feels it to some extent also, is that you, in your awareness of not loving self, you can't find self-love. And so we're just trying to build a bridge for you that, in other words, anytime somebody hurts your feelings, it is because you're in a different vibration than who you really are. And so this quest for self-love, we think, is down the rabbit hole. We wouldn't be looking for self-love. We'd be looking for the part of self that does love. In other words, rather than saying to someone that we love, I want you to love me, we would begin training ourselves into a desire that says, I love loving you. I love the feeling of loving you, and how you feel about me is irrelevant. I love the feeling of loving you. And then what begins to happen, it's like our friend who got so angry at us, Abraham, I don't think you care if my lover ever comes to me. We said, that's exactly right. We just want you to form a vibration that makes you feel so wonderful that it doesn't matter. But then he cannot not come. In other words, when you find that vibration, the universe has to match you up with somebody that feels exactly that way, you see. But we don't want you to let what's happening in terms of manifestation be the criteria for how you feel. And that really is what we were wanting to bring this gathering round to discuss, because so many people say, okay, Abraham, I'll play your silly games, I'll do your processes, I'll do whatever I can do to bring myself to the place of offering the vibration that will get me to the manifestation that I want. And we say, have you heard nothing from us? It isn't getting you to the manifestation that we are teaching you all of this. It is getting you to the place of feeling so good that the manifestation doesn't matter. And then you worry and say, oh, so I'm not maybe going to get the manifestation. We say, that's not what we're saying at all. We're saying the desire for the manifestation is what gives you the reason to want to connect to the energy that is really you, that is the true living of life. And that self-love is evident then, you see. But, and that's why we just don't hit you over the head with an I love me stick, because that really is not what you're looking for.
No, I want to
You're
do it
looking for
myself.
reasons to love. You're looking for reasons to love. And in this environment, there is so much abundance of that. We're appreciating your willingness to discuss this very personal thing, and we think that you have pinpointed something that is stuck in the craw of almost everyone. In other words, most seminars hammer away at the feeling of worthiness, because unworthiness is at the heart of everything that goes wrong for everyone. But these are just buzzwords that have only the potential of stirring you up and making you uncomfortable, and we're wanting you to make peace with where you are.